and welcome to a new episode of The Stack. I'm here, Mr. Caramel Thunder, with my buddy. Introduce yourself, my man.
It's me, it's that COAST, it's your boy Coastal, aka Coast Dynasty on Instagram, aka Coast Dynasty on Xbox Live, aka that Blizzard of the Coast. What's up, Caramel? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing really good, man. I'm doing really good. Right now, we are recording this at 10:45 p.m. This is going to be a late night recording for at least us.
I'm way too tired. I have to go to sleep in like negative 45 minutes, and that is not good because I am pumped. I'm ready to talk, man.
Okay, so anyways, this episode is actually stacked, pun intended, with a bunch of topics. Today we're going to be talking about some Microsoft stuff. Wow, I can't even talk, and we already started. This is bad. The State of Commander article, the Lord of the Rings Ring of Power trailer, Moon Knight trailer, Peacemaker initial thoughts, Book of Boba Fett episode 4, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty spoiler season schedule. I know that you're very excited about that. And then, of course, what we're watching. So that is the stack list. Let's start off at the top. Well, actually, no. Before we start, how are you doing, by the way, my man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm eating a little bit of humble pie after the beatdown you laid on me last night with our first Combat Patrol Warhammer game. I will tell you though, we'll talk a little bit more when we discuss our first Warhammer game and we have a pod about that. But not since I first started taking on golf have I ever enjoyed something while simultaneously being so pathetically bad at it. So, I mean, that's how I'm feeling right now. So, as excited as I have been getting beat down, how are you feeling, especially after last night and your triumphant victory?
Last night was actually a lot of fun. Of course, we'll touch upon this in that Warhammer episode, but I was very nervous after investing, a lot of time and whatever else building these models right? I might not like the gaming part of the hobby and only the building and painting part of the hobby. But I was proven wrong after we did our first turn each. I was just like, oh, I want to roll some more. I want to keep going. What weapons do I got where I can roll a lot of dice, So It was fun. I haven't used my brain that hard in a long time.
There's a lot of stuff that we forgot. Yeah. A lot of triggers we have to remember. So
yeah, a lot of stuff that we forgot. There's things that I did wrong. There's things that I need to start thinking more of. It was overwhelming, but in a good way. But it was also so much fun. At the end of it, my heart was racing. I was like, oh man, that game could have gone either way. In my opinion, it could have gone either way. I just got lucky with my rolls because there's you couldn't charge me with some because you failed or whatever else. But if you had your rolls, you would have won 100%. If you had your rolls, you would have won. I just got lucky with those rolls. So that's
nice of you to say, but I vehemently disagree. I was just dejected by the end of turn 3. I was like, ugh, I'm at some point I'm gonna win a Warhammer game against AJ, right? I mean, I'm sure at one point or another that's gotta happen. So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. I can't wait to talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah. Oh, it'll be a lot of fun when we get to that episode. Because trust me, by that time we'll have a few games under our belts. We'll understand a little bit more of the whole process of the gaming side of it. Of course, we'll be talking of the hobby side as well. But until then, I don't see my wins as actual wins because it's us learning the game. I'll start counting when we both know the rules like the back of our hand and we actually go full bore at each other. Until then,
all right, fair enough.
Until then, this is the training wheel stuff.
Sounds good. The other part is like I had said at the top of the episode, man. I'm the Blizzard of the Coast. Other than when I'm playing Warhammer or painting, I've been out there, just wrecking my back, shoveling all that snow. I have no idea where any of that's going to go now because the snow piles that are in my backyard are now armpit high. So I have no idea.
Are you shoveling your snow piles so you can shovel more snow on your snow piles?
Yeah, I've gotten to that now. I've gotten to that point. I felt so bad for my sister had come over one day, and her dog came over, and he's an absolute sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a giant of a dog, and he went outside for a little bit, and we thought, hey, he's been out there longer. He's usually in by now. And we looked at him. He got stuck in my yard. He got stuck in the snow pile.
No way. That is crazy.
Yeah, he was just like, oh, he was stuck in there, and we were like, oh, you poor guy. I mean, he wasn't out there very long, right? I mean, we're very over attentive to him, but it was sort of a little longer than we expected. And yeah, we saw him. He was struggling to get out of that snow pile. And now, yeah, a little bit of time indoors, and he was running around again.
That is funny. That is very funny, but also like sometimes that could be nerve wracking, right? But I would have had my 7 chuckles 100%. I would have laughed so hard. I'm like, oh, he's stuck. Oh no.
Yeah. So it's fun to laugh about now that he's all good and everything. So
that's good. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, I have a small dog, so if my dog got stuck in the snow, he'd be buried. He'd be gone.
And isn't your dog white?
No, he's brown. He's brown.
Okay. I thought okay. Yeah, I haven't seen him.
Camouflage.
Yeah.
Oh, that is funny. Okay, so let's move on to the stack. So yet again, this is a weekly episode where we discuss the recent news that has gone on in the past week. We give our thoughts on it, and we see if it resolves, or if we want to cancel it. And then other than that, it's just quick fire. Well, as quick as we try to be. Probably not. But it's just literally just overviewing some stuff. If a certain topic is going to deserve its own episode, then of course we can have our own episode in the future about it. But right now, let's just let's look through the stack. Yeah?
Let's do that.
All right. So number 1, Microsoft purchases Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion. That is billion with a B. That is
Speaking
a
of
lot
stacks.
of money. That is a lot of money. I think that is the most a gaming company has been purchased in gaming history.
Here's the thing. Is last week we talked about Take-Two acquiring Zynga for $12.7 billion, and we talked about that being a massive deal because at the time that was the largest deal in video game history. This, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this isn't just the largest video game purchase in history. This is Microsoft's largest purchase in history. This is monstrous.
Yeah. This is because if you think about it, they have all of the Call of Duties. They have access to Skylanders. They have access to the Spider-Man IP. Let's see, Quake, Doom, Tony Hawk. Let's see, I'm just going through all their list. You got World of Warcraft.
You're talking about what Microsoft now owns, or are you talking about
what Microsoft now owns?
Oh, yeah.
Let's see here.
They own Rare.
Rare, yes. World of Warcraft. They own Bethesda too.
They own Bethesda, yeah.
Like, they own so many games now where it's like...
Yeah.
Like, it's funny because I read an article that the second that they announced them purchasing Activision Blizzard, the Sony stock dropped.
It did. It plummeted. Like Sony
dropped.
basically. It was funny because I had seen that the head of Xbox actually had to tweet that, hey, calm down, guys. We are gonna allow Sony, or we're gonna honor all of Sony's contractual obligations, or all of Activision Blizzard's contractual obligations to Sony. They're going to be honored. But I mean, it's one thing to say that. It's another thing to say, hey, you know what? You can get Call of Duty on PS5 if you pay $70, or you can get it day one on Game Pass Ultimate for $15 a month.
Not to mention, you get access to all the other games for that exact same price. Yeah. Only that price.
First party games are all day one Game Pass Ultimate. Like that's
now
that they own that. It's
big. It's essentially they are now the Netflix of gaming. They are the Netflix of gaming by far. You pay one subscription fee and you get access to all these games. They're the exact same as Netflix now, but for gaming.
Listen, as a guy who World of Warcraft has been, as an adult, the most influential video game in my adult life. Mm-hmm. And as a guy who is a day one OG Xbox purchaser, and I have purchased all 4 Xbox generations. Xbox Series X was day one. Mm-hmm. OG Xbox was day one. Xbox 360 was immediately after their first price drop, and then Xbox One was a little wonky on it because of the muddled launch, and then that was when Ali was a toddler, or not a toddler, but a really small child. So kind of had other obligations, but yeah, like I have ridden with Microsoft since they entered the video game world, and I had always thought, like, why don't they just, why don't they flex their muscles? I mean, Sony, you get into the little dumb console war stuff, right? And all I always thought is, why doesn't Microsoft just flex muscles and just buy the shit out of everything?
Yeah.
We're seeing it.
We're
seeing that because that is a monster purchase.
Yeah, and I believe I think it was Twitter or something like that about like how the Sony executives felt, and like they felt worried, but they're not worried as well. But here's the thing, man. Like when it comes to this, Xbox knows that if Sony is out of the business, it's also bad for business for them.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
They need that healthy competition.
Yeah, for sure.
They need that healthy competition.
At the same time, healthy competition and Microsoft outside of the video game sphere has never really been
100%.
They've never really been synonymous with each other. So,
and like for me, I'm a Sony guy, born and raised. I've owned every single PlayStation. I've only owned one Xbox, and that was the first Xbox. That's it. Why? Because of DDR and Halo. That's it. Right? But other than that, I played every single Sony console, and I bought every single Sony console on day one, except for the PS5, because that one is impossible to get apparently, which really sucks.
It's still tough to get.
Yeah, it's still tough to get
one of those consoles or a GPU. It's tough to do current generation gaming, no matter what you want to do.
Yep.
Which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
But now with this stuff, I have a question for you. Sure. What Blizzard game would you like to have on console now?
World of Warcraft. I'm not even
100%.
World of Warcraft. I've been waiting for we have been waiting for World of Warcraft on console, and all I was hoping was, if it happens, I hope it's cross console, because if they're only doing one, I had always thought they're going to go Sony.
Yeah.
Because Sony is so vast and so huge, right?
And they have a bunch of MMORPGs on the PlayStation side already.
It just seems to do better on Sony. So I was always hoping that if they do announce that they're coming to console, that they're coming to both consoles. Because if they were only coming to one, it wasn't going to be us, unfortunately. But yeah, that's head and shoulders above everything else. That if you told me to name any video game that I wanted to see on the console, it would be World of Warcraft. Yep. So I don't know how it's going to work. I do, like, I have a 16 button mouse that I use when I play World of Warcraft, and I still need modifier buttons because there's so many spells, and to keep track of all my cooldowns. And I wonder how modifications are going to work and all that. But listen, get me the bare bones. Even if you just get us WoW Classic on there, I'm ready to go.
Honestly, like when it comes to that, they have to go the exact same route as Final Fantasy 14. Final Fantasy 14 right now, in my opinion, is the biggest MMO.
Yeah.
The biggest MMO, and you can play it on console and on your PC. And a lot of the elite players, a lot of the best players in the world apparently, play it on their console.
Okay.
You can have 52 different buttons on your PC, and they found a way to put those 52 buttons on your controller.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Make it work.
All using the triggers and the buttons to alternate.
Exactly. Triggers and buttons have different menus or different toolbars, whatever else, and I can see that. I like playing Final Fantasy on the controller because I feel like I have more control. I really do. So I really hope that they actually find a way to port World of Warcraft onto a console, because before I played World of Warcraft, during the break I played World of Warcraft, and I took a break. I played Star Wars: The Old Republic, and then from there I played DC Universe Online, which is a Sony PlayStation MMORPG, and that was strictly with controller, and that was fun. That was so much fun.
I got into that a little bit, but I only played the free-to-play version, which, I mean, it's not fair to compare any free-to-play MMO versus the fully featured subscription level of WoW, right? It's not a fair comparison. There's just so much more to do, and you pay for that. So, I did enjoy that, though. I did enjoy making my my own superhero. Sort of quick aside, myself and my buddy Deej, he's the guy who I always play MMOs with, and he's the guy who I played World of Warcraft with. We both sort of separately on our own made our own characters, And then when we were done, it was so weird because we both had sort of Canadianized versions of our superheroes' names, and we both used the same color scheme. It was the weirdest thing.
That's
It was the
awesome. That's
weirdest thing.
actually
We
awesome.
made them on our own, and yeah, which was so weird. But
That's actually so
yeah.
cool.
Oh man, I'm so excited about this purchase. I had to tell you, the other thing about this is, if this purchase goes as well as even something like their purchase of Mojang, look out, because I mean, if you can buy Activision Blizzard, what's stopping you from EA? What's
Yep.
stopping you from Ubisoft?
Yep.
Right? What's stopping you from any of these other AAA houses?
Yep.
So,
And to think this is probably the best time for Activision Blizzard to actually get bought, only because of all the controversy that's going on.
well, the worst time for them, right? But
Worst time for them, but most
best time for a
beneficial for
buyer.
anyone else.
The best time for a buyer, absolutely, because their stock had plummeted. And they bought them for, I believe it was $90 a share, which is why it cost $68.7 billion. They were only valued at $65 a share when they were bought. So that's a giant premium for any of the stockholders. I could see why they sold. But yeah, cash money, baby. That's how they bought it.
To be honest, though, if you're
Straight
into
cash,
stocks, this is where you invest in Activision Blizzard and Microsoft right now.
Oh, man.
This is where you invest.
Their market cap, they're the second most valuable company in the world, right? $2.3 billion or $2.3 trillion, which is insane.
What's first, Amazon?
Apple.
Okay, that makes sense. No, but yeah, man, this is honestly, this is good and bad news depending how you look at it. Right now, I think this is going to be very promising. We'll see what happens in the future, but like you said, I want WoW on a console.
Yeah, me too. As a rule, you never like seeing a big, sort of a big industry, a big company within an industry, regardless of the industry it is, being bought by an even bigger company. You never like seeing that, but just this one had taken hit after hit, and it means so much to me on a personal level with this company and the games that they've made, because I loved Hearthstone too, right? Like,
yeah, same.
They've made so many games that are so important, and it was just all going down the drain. And now it's in the hands of a company that isn't going to be EA. They're not just going to let it wither on the vine and die. They're not just going to take its assets and and then just let it, like I said, let it die. So I'm excited. I'm excited about this. Let's see where it goes. The other thing, man, is like, we better see a Smash. I want to see a Smash Brothers clone, or I want to see a racing game. Like, hire the guys from Nintendo who did it and just do a straight up copy of those games. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. I want to see it, man. I want to see Master Chief versus Thrall.
That'd be wicked sweet.
I want to see.
That'd be wicked sweet.
I want to see Marcus Phoenix versus Joanna Dark. I want to see Tracer versus Crash Bandicoot. Right? Like, they have so many guys. Like Varian Rin in a fighting game, man. I want to see Steve from Minecraft. I want to see Steve from Minecraft fight Clippy. I want to see that.
Oh man, there's a lot of possibilities, dude.
I want to
There's
see
so
that.
much stuff now.
Put him in a racing game. Put him in a fighting game. Let's go.
That'd be wicked sweet. Oh man, that'd be wicked sweet. Okay, but anyways, does this resolve on your end?
Oh man, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
let's resolve that one.
Me too, because for me, I'm actually very excited. Even though I'm a Sony guy, I'm actually very excited because that means a lot of the good games that are on Activision Blizzard, they'll get a lot of funding.
Yeah,
we'll get a lot of funding. So we'll see how things go. All right. Yeah. So that one resolves. The next one, I don't know much about this one actually, but Sheldon Menery, if I pronounced your name wrong, I apologize, released the State of Commander, a 2022 article. Now, I didn't read this one. You read this one, right?
I did, yep.
Okay, can you tell me what's going on with the State of Commander?
So it's a quick summarization of where he does this on an annual basis, just for the uninitiated. Sheldon Menery is the head of the rules committee. He's how do I put this? He's the face to the group of people who basically created the Commander format. Okay, so while he has no sort of official position within Wizards of the Coast, I mean, right, they're the ones who created, and they're the caretakers of what is now the most popular format to play.
Yep.
In for Magic the Gathering. So his words do hold a lot of weight. So he typically at the beginning of every year he'll do an article that just a state of the format, sort of just some of the things that he's seen that he's happy with, some of the things that they're kind of concerned about, and just sort of where is Commander going into this year, right? So some of the things that he talked about that he really enjoyed, and I for the most part enjoyed a lot of the conversation that happened there. I enjoyed and I agree with a lot of the things that he said. So in terms of the positives, he did say that he's happy that they're having a little bit more input into the design of the cards that are sort of commander-centric, commander-focused, which I really like, and I hope that continues, because there was that period in late 2018 to around early 2020, late 2019, where we were just getting a massive, just these stupid strong cards for Commander.
Yeah,
and it was just basically to push. It was just to push product, right? That was the era where we got, within 2 months, I think we got Tulane, we got Corvald, we got Jeweled Amulet, we got Arcane Signet, we got like all these bang, 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 and it was like, man, this is you're making the format something that it isn't, and or that it isn't really meant to be. And yeah, I was starting to, when I was seeing those cards, I was like, man, I not only do I not want to play those, I don't really want to play against them either, right? Like, listen, I get, my viewpoint is only one, and other people are going to disagree with me, but I kind of like the battle cruisery format. Like, I don't want to win turn 4. I don't want to win turn 5, right? Like, I don't want a deck that can consistently do that. So I'd like seeing, like, I like if we can get together for like a 4-hour commander session, if we get 2 games out of it, that's sort of what I like. I like having those, because that's when big dumb things happen, right?
That's very true.
Like the turn 15, turn 16, it's like, oh yeah, hey, I somehow, fell ass backwards into a 5-card combo that gave me 80 goblins all of a sudden, right? And I'm not even a goblin deck. So this is, right? So that's sort of what I like about Commander. It's not at all a competitive format for me. So that was one of the things that he enjoyed. He did like, also, he discussed that he's happy with the pre-game conversations that Rule Zero has sort of taken the forefront. They're discussing more about that. We do that in our group, right?
Yeah.
So before I go on with that Rule Zero, what are your thoughts about sort of what he had mentioned in terms of the input in design, that the cards are a little bit more, I'm going to say, balanced, if you will. The power creep has started to slow down a little bit. What are your thoughts?
I like the fact that essentially this is more of a grounding of all of the new commander cards coming out. That's a good right? Because then there is a bar. There is a bar, yeah. Right? And that bar is where the power creep is. Yeah. If you surpass that bar, you push the power creep higher. With him putting in his input, or him and his team putting in their input, that bar is not going to get pushed any higher, right? They're going to touch the bar, but they're not going to push it even higher. And that's what I hope.
That's what I'm hoping for too.
Yeah, because like I've noticed even in our group where the main focus now is winning. Yeah. The main focus
it's getting there.
And I personally don't like that. That's just me, right? Mm-hmm. And it's easy for me to say that because, yeah, you're supposed to win 1 out of every 4 games, and I end up winning like 1 out of every 3 games.
Sure.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, you have a higher win rate than average.
And it's easy for a guy who has a higher win rate to say that. Mm-hmm. But I only do win is because half the time someone with a really strong deck gets taken out right away. Mm-hmm. And I just
allows you to slide in.
It allows me to slide in, or I play the same Krinko deck, and I just win that way. And yeah, it's nice to win, but I don't want to win. Yeah. I don't want to win. When I play Krinko, I try to play Krinko in a way where it's like, okay, so he's building up his board state like no tomorrow. He's building up his board state. Yeah, so they all have a board state. What is a new way I can win with Krinko other than attacking with 150 million
goblins? As it does. Yeah.
As it always does. Like, okay, sweet. So now there's a threat, and I try to surpass that threat. Like, okay, so that's how I try to play Krinko. And at the end of the day, it ends up playing with just snowballing goblins. and it gets to the point where I might take apart Krinko.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I actually might
I
take
hope you're
apart
taking it
Krinko.
apart in favor of a different deck.
Oh yeah, of
Right?
course,
Not-
of course. I might
yeah.
take it apart in favor of a different deck where, like with Krinko, I have like 10 different ways to get 1,000,000 goblins,
Yeah.
right? And for some goblin decks, that's 7 more ways than how they would get it, right?
Yeah.
But essentially, it's 10 different ways to get 1,000,000 goblins. But at the end of the day, I'm still getting 1,000,000 goblins. They
Yeah.
all end up in the same path, right? Now, if I can make a goblin deck where one is 1,000,000 or 2, 3 different ways or how to get 1,000,000. One is a Voltron goblin. Another one is like commander damage only, right? Like I've never won with just commander damage with that deck, right? So it's even I have to admit that I'm pushing the power creep in our game with a 10-year-old deck
Yeah.
because I'm winning on turn 3, turn 4, if I'm really lucky. If I'm really lucky, right? Because it's bad when like we had that conversation we had last night where our table is more focused on playing a commander on turn 2, turn 3 because they want to win on the next 2 turns.
Yeah, and that sort of it actually leads to the next point, and the area of concern that I agreed with most on him is that he was talking about the homogenization of the format and the speed of the format, and just. The worst card printed in the last 5 years is Arcane Signet.
Oh, I can see that.
That has always been my contention. Is the worst card because it's. I mean, Soul Ring is not a great card, but it's also a really, really old card that was designed a long time ago, and now they're just flooding the market with it to make sure that everyone has access to this card. If Soul Ring wasn't in every single precon available, Soul Ring would be like $1,300.
Yeah.
If they didn't reprint it, they didn't reprint the hell out of it. It is in every Commander product, and it's still a $3 card. Yeah, like that's how ridiculous Soul Ring is.
I do believe all the staples that they have in Commander right now should not be in future Commander products.
You think so? I think it the other way. I think that they should flood the hell out of it because it. Well, okay, I get what you're saying though, because then it does lead to the homogenization. I think the best part would have been to not design these cards at all.
That's true. Very true. Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're saying is to not make them available. But the problem with that is it just makes them more scarce, right? So
here's the thing: is it really scarce? Like Soul Ring is
be
probably the most, in my opinion, printed card for Commander, other than Command Tower.
Right, but I mean, if they don't reprint the hell out of Soul Ring, then it becomes Teferi's Protection, right?
Yeah.
It becomes Smothering Tithe. So it was the one thing that we had talked about in terms of the homogenization. The game has gotten faster, which is something I don't love. And the game has the decks have all sort of become kind of the same, right? Everybody kind of plays the same thing. Right? It's like before it was you pick your commander. And you probably got Soul Ring, and you probably got Command Tower, and then you've got your 97 cards after that.
Yeah.
But now you've got your commander, who is definitely not one who's a 5-cast. It's always a 4-cast commander or under, which already limits the number of commanders you're going to use.
Yep.
You got Soul Ring, you got Arcane Signet, and then you've got your package for whatever card combination, right? If you're white, you're always running Smothering Tithe. Yeah. You're always running you're almost always running Esper Sentinel, right? So like that was the one thing that this is the one thing I vehemently disagree with most with our friend Rui. Roof 69, he always says that nothing should be banned and that you should just if you don't like the way somebody's deck works, just run more removal. Just run more removal is always his answer to everything. It's like, sure. But then if everybody's running more removal,
no one's playing the game.
Nobody's playing it doesn't make sense for me to play Muldrotha if the first 2 times I cast Muldrotha, she's getting knocked off the board.
Yeah.
Right? Because then now it's a 10-cost commander.
Yeah.
Right? And what's the point? At that point, I'm not casting her anymore.
Yeah. For me, I'm going to be honest with you, I kind of want them to make higher cost commanders right out of the gate. Give me an 8 CC. Give me a 10. Give me those big bombs where I have to work to get those cards.
And the thing was, they used to be viable, right?
Yeah.
But the thing now is that if you run as much removal as like if everybody's running more and more removal, and the problem with that now is that you have to cast that card and it has to stick against 3 other people, and if those 3 other people are running 4 more removal spells than they did before, that is 12 more removal spells that you're up against, and that's everybody, right? So that's sort of what I don't like, because the thing is, whenever I don't know if I've ever talked about the way I build my decks, but I always reserve parts of my deck for cards that are just, they may not necessarily fit sort of the archetype of the card, but I like this card, right? They're my pet cards, they're my favorite cards, because that's how I always play to win when I'm at the table, but I don't build my deck to win.
Yeah.
So that's how.
And I believe we talked about this in the getting to know you episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, way back when, on how you build your decks.
Oh, right. So that's how I build. And the thing is, if everybody's running more removal, if I have to run more removal, well, guess what's getting cut? A ramp spell's not getting cut. Yeah. A different removal spell's not getting cut. That doesn't make any sense. A land's not getting cut. So what's getting cut? My pet cards are, which is sort of what made Commander the format that it is, I think, is that flavor, the ability to make that deck your own, right? Like you said with yourself, like you want to start winning with Krenko in less
and not in the same way over and over again.
Yeah, in a non-typical way. Well, what happens when you lose 6 games in a row with that Krenko? Because you're always getting your stuff removed. You're going to start optimizing your deck more, which means you're taking out the fun decks. You're taking out the fun cards for good cards, right? Which at the end is what's happening, I think, with our group is our decks are better. They're not necessarily more fun.
That's very true. So, and in all honesty, maybe that's why I'm leaning into like a Magic burnout at the moment, right? Because it's the exact same decks. It's the exact same decks that we're playing against. It's the exact same stuff. So it's like, I know what's going to happen. I know how to counter it. I miss the days where it's like, you have a new deck? What does it do? Yeah. So, oh, okay, I'm going to learn along with you. Okay, sweet, let's go. Right? And then you learn that deck, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I let that happen. Why did I do that? I'm so dumb. Or like, oh wait, dude, that's a combo. Did you know that? It's like, oh no, I didn't. Okay, that's a combo. Like those, the days where when someone was playing a Magic deck and it was a surprise, those I liked. But now it's like you know what's gonna happen, and you can anticipate it. But it's like it's harder, and it's more enjoyable when you're like, you don't know what's gonna happen. Everything's a mystery. Everything's tossed up in the air. You're like, now I really got to think. What are my possibilities? This and that, right?
Well, and not just that, but it's sort of like the other end of it too. Is like I said, I don't mind losing, and it's always fun when it like one of my favorite moments. And I let's not tell Nelson this, but one of my favorite moments was when he stole my own guy and killed me with it, because that was hilarious. Because I've like, obviously at the moment I'm like, what the fuck, and I'm like salty, but then after it's hilarious because it's a memory, it's a moment we can talk about, it's a moment you guys still bug me about, which is which is great. I love when that happens. Losing to the same win con from the same deck 4 games in a row is like, all right, well,
that's no longer a memory. Right? Awesome. The first time it happens is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. But then if it happens a million times, it's not. Yeah. You're right. It's not fun.
I don't know. But that's just, like I'm not sure if I'm quite at the level of burnout that you are, but mainly because I'm so excited about Neon Dynasty, but we'll see what happens when the upcoming set isn't as interesting to me, right? We'll see where I am.
Yeah. And when we get to the Neon Dynasty topic, like I'll probably tell you where I'm at for excitement level and what I thought I would be and where I'm actually at, and you'll probably understand why, right? Sure. But honestly, with what you're saying for this article, I think it's good news. Yeah, I think it's good news. Yeah.
Yeah. The other area of concern that he had, and this is the one thing that I think this is. I mean, I don't know if it's not really our group's issue, because none of us play any other formats other than, I don't know if you'd seen Pauper. ATOG got banned, and that's literally the only Pauper deck I own, so that sucks. But the area of concern was the health of the other formats, right? Because Standard is so bad right now, because there isn't really a modern like there are no world championships or anything, so like nobody's really playing modern, nobody's playing Standard, nobody's playing any of those big formats. Well, what happens is a lot of times the people who are, more competitive, the people who they're getting their magic fix only from Commander, which means they're getting their competitive fix from Commander. Whereas before, Commander was kind of the format that they used to, hey, let's get some dumb cards going.
Let's have a beer, play some dumb cards, and hang out.
This is just us unwinding after playing competitive Magic. But if the most popular format is the most casual format, well, guess what happens to that casual format? It becomes more competitive. And I think that's the other issue too. So here's hoping for a healthy Standard. Here's hoping for a healthy Modern. I don't play either format, but here's hoping for that so that we have a healthier Commander.
Look at it this way. If you go to any of the LGSs in our city, Friday nights was regular draft night. It was either Monday or Tuesday would be Modern, right? And there wouldn't be any Commander. None. Now,
there were some who were saying, like, we're getting started. Oh, we have a couple of guys coming down for Commander. We do that on, Thursday, along with, we have a table reserved when Yu-Gi-Oh! Or when Pokemon is here.
So it happens on a different night, like when there's, like you said, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, or Digimon going on. Now, there's no Modern night. Rarely there is a draft going on Fridays. But usually it's either Wednesday, Thursday, there's a full straight Commander night. And Fridays, where it's supposed to be Friday Night Magic draft, it's Commander. Yep. It's literally Commander's taking over the shop nights. It's crazy.
Yep. And it's and you can see it too, because I remember looking, because I was thinking about heading down to the LGS when things were a little bit more calm, and I was like, man, I got to just start going out and doing some of this stuff. And I looked at their schedule because of the restrictions that we got right now, you had to kind of book a spot. And I would look and see, like, they had a Standard night and they had a Modern night. There were like 3 spots booked. And then I would look and every Commander spot was filled already. 25 spots filled versus 3 and 2 for Standard and Modern, which, I mean, is unfortunate. So I'm hoping that sort of, I hope that turns around, because like I said, man, I mean, I like playing my meme decks, man. I don't.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
Like, I want to play Brina, but I'm not going to play Brina if I'm going to lose turn 4. Like,
yeah. And it's, with our play group is bad for that at the moment, where the power creep is starting to get bad, and it's like, this ain't fun for me.
Warned you guys about this.
So, my opinion, I think this resolves. I think this is good news for the overall format.
I wish I could counter it, but as usual, I don't run enough removal. So,
well, it's good for the fact that now there's someone who's going to be overseeing the power creep.
Let's hope so.
Let's hope so.
Because, like I said, Arcane Signet was the worst thing that happened to Commander.
Yeah.
Right. Soul Ring, there's no excuse. There was no Commander when it was made. Commander, this was built for Commander. Right. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Moving on to the next one. This next one is actually, I don't know where I'm at for this one. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm very excited. I'm very much excited, but I'm also very much worried about it. Okay. But the Lord of the Rings of Power trailer. Now, first off, this trailer was beautiful, and it was super simple.
Yeah.
First off, there was no CGI. Everything was recorded essentially with a very expensive camera zoomed in onto a piece of wood, and all they did was pour hot molten metal and watched it go into the crevices, and they poured water over it, and they placed it on another piece of wood to display everything. That's all it was.
That's really how they did that?
That's all it was. This was them
awesome
on a piece of wood. They, I guess they carved out the letters, right?
Yeah.
And then they poured the molten metal onto it, which went into all the letters, and the camera just zoomed in back and forth to get all the angles.
Awesome.
And then they dumped water on it to have that water rush effect.
Yeah.
And it was all in real time with a camera.
So this was real effects.
This was real effect. This was like there's a behind the scenes. I'll send you the behind the scenes after we record this, because this was I thought it was CGI. I'm like, oh man, this is look at that. I thought it was like mountains or hills. No, it was a zoomed in piece of wood with them pouring molten metal into it to get all that. Like, none of it was CGI. Apparently, I'm like, what? This is amazing.
I thought for a second there, I was just sort of passively agreeing with you while I was thinking in my head, is this another Noslin situation where we watch different trailers?
Yeah, no, I'll
like
get you the behind the scenes, and you'll really like it.
Trailer. So
yeah,
no, but yeah, that's amazing. Like that's yeah. So having said that, I mean, now that you've told me that, I'm gonna go back and watch that again because that's awesome. You were saying you're a little bit worried.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on not just the Rings of Power as I believe it's a series coming out, right?
Mm-hmm. It's an Amazon series, yeah.
And that was my next question: is how do you feel about Amazon Prime taking this on?
I'm okay with Amazon Prime taking it, only because I know for the fact that's going to get the funding it needs, right? And Amazon knows. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, will it? Because outside of The Boys, I'm trying to think of an Amazon Prime hit outside of
But here's the thing. Their stuff is getting a lot better.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And they know for a fact that with this IP, you need to swing for the fences. You can't you can't just go up to the batter's box and just bunt it. You have to swing for the fences.
Yeah,
and that's what they're going for. That's what they're trying to go for, and everything else. The reason why I'm worried about it is more of the behind the scene kind of stuff and this and that, where like Lord of the Rings was written in a time that was different than our modern age.
Mm-hmm.
It was written in a time where there were good guys and bad guys. Right? Now, with all the stuff that I'm reading and I'm hearing about it, it's just like
shades of gray.
It's shades of gray. Apparently, Tolkien's a racist. Only good people are white. Bad people are colored. I'm like, guys, stop it. This is a fantasy world written in a different time, and like you just have to enjoy it for what it is. Don't try to put any kind of like background stuff to it, and like just enjoy it for what it is. Like there's no ill intent that it was put into it or whatever else. Like the Lord of the Rings trilogy was, in my opinion, my favorite and the best trilogy or movies ever, in my opinion.
That's high praise. That's really high praise.
Ever, in my opinion. And I did not think once about racism, about inequality, about any of that stuff. Why? Because you saw a woman kick ass in all three movies.
Yeah.
You see regular humans standing up to an evil presence and being better and sacrificing themselves for it, right? You saw the greater good. You saw a very humble and amazing story of just awesomeness, right? Like it's very hard to have those things being put to something that you love, and it's like, great, so now they're going to be trying to do all this stuff, this and that, and it's not really going to be following the book, but it's going to be based off the book. So I'm worried about it. I'm very much worried about it. I just want to make sure that if they have to do changes, I'm fine if they do changes, right? But don't change the story in order to make that change work. Sure. If it fits in, it fits in, right? But don't rewrite someone's whole backstory just to make it work. And apparently they might be doing that for a few key characters, which is what I'm worried about.
Okay. I struggle with this one because we are in a different era.
Yeah.
Right. And it is something that we do need to sort of revisit a lot of these things. Because the thing is, I don't have quite the attachment to Lord of the Rings that you do. So the source material, I'm sort of a little bit more okay with it sort of getting altered, if you will, to fit a more contemporary audience if it's needed. Just simply because I'm not as familiar with source material.
Which is totally fair. And that makes sense when it comes to money wise. I'm like, Yeah, you got to make money. 100%, you got to make money.
Well, and not just that, but I mean, with the one thing you don't want to do is, I mean, if you're going to do this, and if you're going to sort of attempt to make this a little bit more of a contemporary interpretation, don't have it devolve into tokenism, not Tolkienism, but tokenism. Like, don't just throw a black elf in the middle of a battle scene and think that, hey, diversity. Right?
And
like,
apparently that's what they might be doing. They're just doing it to check box. I'm like, come on, like really?
Like, this has to be done. It's a delicate balance, and it has to be sort of done with the proper respect. I hope if you're going to do it, like if not, either go one of two ways, right? Like go strictly sort of down to the last letter of the interpretation of the source material, and if there's some blowback, there's some blowback,
Yep.
or give it the right respect, right? Like we had talked about last episode when we were talking about Kamigawa building worlds, where they brought in sort of the cultural expert, and they brought in people, and we love that, right?
Well, that's
we love
awesome.
that aspect, and I think that's sort of what I'm hoping for in terms of the direction. If this is, because honestly, I had not known about this, right? I did not know that this was sort of coming down the pike, and I think that if it's done properly, and if it's done with the proper level of respect that it should have, I'd like to hope that it's going to do the right thing, because I mean, we've talked about representation being important, right? We would love to see for the younger people who are just getting exposed to Lord of the Rings, it would be great for some of them who look like us to see people who look like them.
Oh yeah, but as long as it makes sense, and it's
as
not
long as it makes sense, right?
just it doesn't change the whole story of it just to make it work. I'm like,
sure,
if it makes sense, it makes sense. I'm like, oh yeah, of course there were brown elves. It's just you just didn't see them.
Yeah,
they were there,
and they never really brought up their color, which is right. But I mean, I can see sort of the other aspect of it, in that, you know, like the Uruk-hai are all dark, and the elves are all like the whitest of white. They're transparently white.
Exactly.
So I mean, I get both sides of it. So I just hope that it does pay. If they are sort of going to move in that direction, I hope that they do give it the proper respect. They don't just, like you said, I hope they don't just tick a box and kind of brush their hands and go, yep, pat themselves on the shoulder. Yep. Diversity.
We ticked the box. Right? We did all this. I'm like, if you're going to tick a box, do it right.
Do it right. So yeah.
Also, another reason why I'm kind of worried about it was from a bunch of stuff that I've been reading, like on IGN and this and that, and like some other reviewers, they want to make this like Game of Thrones. And that's completely opposite of what Lord of the Rings is.
Yeah.
I'm like, violence.
That would upset me.
Violence, yeah, sweet. Cool. I'm okay with that. Adding sex scenes, adding like that kind of stuff. I'm like, that's not Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is characters singing songs. Lord of the Rings is like folklore. It's legends. It's like beating adversary. It's not brutality. Sorry. It's not brutality like it is in Game of Thrones. Because that's a different kind of brutal. Yeah. Let's be honest here.
Game of Thrones was taking all of the typical fantasy tropes. A significant portion of them were, originating from the Lord of the Rings and turning it on its head, right? Like basically, I don't remember which antagonist said it in Game of Thrones, but the one who said, if you think the good guys are going to win, you're in the wrong place, right? And that's the biggest part of Game of Thrones. Like, listen, if I see an elf titty, that's not a big deal either way. But
if it's like Game of Thrones style, it's like I don't want that.
Yeah. If I'm going to see, Gandalf stabbing somebody stabbing his his
things from behind, right? From somebody. I'm like, come on, that's not it. That's not Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
100%. That's not Lord of the Rings. And that's also why I'm worried. It's like, okay, so they wanna have Lord of the Rings brand, but Game of Thrones style, and they also want to try and tick as many boxes as possible to make as many people happy. I'm like, no.
It sounds like you're juggling.
What you need to focus on is making the Lord of the Rings fans happy, because that alone will make you so much money. And then if you want to do Game of Thrones, do things that you like about it, but don't try to emulate it.
Yeah, I think that there's enough of a established audience that staying true to it, not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
I think that if you do want to sort of contemporize it for a newer audience, like the thing is, Lord of the Rings did come out 20 years ago, so there's definitely a potential for a new audience out there. Just I hope when you say they want to make it like Game of Thrones, what they mean is how much money Game of Thrones costs.
I hope so too. Not like exactly
money,
like Game of Thrones.
How much money they put behind it? Not hey, let's behead Gandalf at the end of season 1,
right?
Just for shock.
Because it's like with Lord of the Rings, you grow with the characters from beginning. Yeah, you lose some main characters, but it's not like every single episode a main character is dying.
Yeah, they're we better not see, the Lord of the Rings version of the Red Wedding.
I hope not, because
right? as
that does not happen in the book. I don't think.
Yeah, but yeah, let's not turn Lord of the Rings as a strong enough intellectual property to stand on its own. We don't need to turn it into, a ripoff of the television version of a less successful book series.
Yeah,
right.
And one thing that I'm excited for is that this series does take place. I don't know if it's 100 or a few thousand years, but it takes place a long time before Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
a long time before it. So we might get to see some elves that were in Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm. But we're definitely not seeing any of the humans.
We're not definitely seeing any of the humans or the hobbits. Maybe Gandalf. I don't know. I don't know if he was up and about at this time. If, of course, he'd be Gandalf the Grey. But, essentially the only people that we would recognize if they decide to come back would be some of the elves.
Mm.
Of course, because, they're elves and they live forever. Yeah. So, but other than that, it's like, I'm very excited to see that they're going to be telling the story of the Rings of Power.
Yeah.
Because I think that'll be interesting.
I think it's a really interesting story, and that's what I think. That's what I'm hoping that they mean by they're going to sort of turn some of the tropes, because there's definitely a possibility there to turn humans as the antagonists, right? Because they were the ones who were the most ambitious. They're the ones who were drunk with power with these rings. So again, I have a limited understanding, but from my interpretation of the trilogy, there's definitely some possibility there where if that's what they mean by turning it on its head, is if you're going to turn the realm of man into sort of the antagonist of the story, that I can see. Or at least sort of a different viewpoint where it's like, okay, we're the good guys from our point of view, but I could see why we're the bad guys to these other people. I could see why we're right. So something like that. If you're doing that sort of shades of gray, I'm
okay with that.
See that.
I'm okay with that. Because, it'd be nice to see the fall of man, too, and, like, why it was so bad and why it was impactful.
How it got there,
Right? So, overall, like, I'm 50-50 on this. The trailer, though, I'm 100% in for it. The trailer was awesome. Beautiful. I can't wait till you actually watch the behind the scenes, because the second you watch the behind the scenes, you appreciate that trailer so much more, dude. So much more. Okay, but anyways, I'm more than happy to resolve this. You good?
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Let's resolve this.
Moving on to the next one. This one, very interesting. This is
not even a fan-made one.
Not even a fan-made one, right? The actual trailer came out. The actual trailer came out. And in my opinion, this might be the darkest movie that Marvel might come out with, maybe other than Blade. Like the new Blade movie coming up that we don't know nothing about, but I'm just assuming. So the Moon Knight trailer came out Monday.
One thing I did want to point out real quick. Something I sort of wanted us to do and touch on that I don't want us to use often is I wanted to do something called sequencing errors, where we talk about the mistakes from the previous episode of the stacks.
Yeah.
One of them, in addition to Noslin basically watching the wrong trailer, Moon Knight's not a movie; it's a series on Disney Plus.
Yep. So that's one mistake. Second mistake, I thought that was Kevin Bacon in the trailer, and it wasn't Kevin Bacon in the trailer.
Well, at least it wasn't Hawkeye.
Oh my gosh. Okay, anyways, I'm actually happy that this is a series, which means there's more watch time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can really flesh out a story, because then you're not talking about a 2-hour movie. You're talking about a or a 2 hour and 47 movie, as we found out with the Batman, 2 hours and 47 minutes.
That's a
crazy.
long movie.
Yeah. But like you could stretch a story out over 6 hours.
8 hours, right? 8 hours, right?
Yeah.
And one thing that I am actually really enjoying is that Marvel's not afraid to show some blood on the screen now.
No, they're taking some chances now.
Yeah, I'm actually very excited for this because this trailer is dark, of course.
Yeah. Yep.
It's got its horror themes, which I really like.
Mm-hmm.
But the brutality, it's like watching the Batman trailer with him punching that guy.
Yeah.
It looked awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome. Minus the whole Sailor Moon outfit thing going on. Like, you know how Sailor Moon outfit comes from behind and attaches? That's kind of that's the feel I got.
That's your only drawback.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it just reminded me of Sailor Moon getting dressed. And like her like dressing sequence, you know, like her whole body turns like and, colored light and then everything just like wraps around her. And like that's what I thought. I'm like, dude, oh my gosh, of course.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. Where's Tuxedo Mask when you need him?
Exactly. But what are your initial thoughts on this trailer?
So I think I'm going to echo the same thing that you said. That you know what, I like the gritty feel of it. I'm not a big horror guy, but I definitely don't mind. Like it was sort of in the same vein, like you had mentioned earlier, Blade. It definitely seemed like that, like a comic book movie that sort of blends a little bit of horror with the action. It's got a darker feel to it. I've always liked a little bit more of the gritty. Maybe that is sort of why I gravitate more towards DC than I do Marvel typically, because they are typically a little bit more grittier, a little bit darker themed, right? A little more grounded in realism in sort of the overarching world of superheroes, right? So that's sort of what I like. I will say this: I'm actually, I don't, like I said, I didn't know anything about Moon Knight. Mm-hmm. After that, the next thing on my sort of video on my YouTube queue after I watched the trailer was a video from a guy named Variant.
Very good channel.
Yeah, I don't follow him. I started subscribing after that, and it was just basically an overview of the character, and I found that very interesting. And I'm actually really excited now for this Moon Knight for the Moon Knight series, which is coming out at the end of March. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say that it's probably the most excited I've been about a Marvel television series coming to Disney.
Really?
Yep. I'm more excited about this than I was about WandaVision, Hawkeye, even Loki. So, yeah,
That's
I'm pretty
impressive.
excited about this.
That's impressive.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't touch the level of hype that I had for Mandalorian or
that's fair.
Boba Fett, but it's up there. Yeah, like I'm in terms of DC or in terms of Marvel properties on Disney Plus. Yeah, I'm pretty much more excited about this than almost anything, right? I mean, only because I'd already seen Shang-Chi in the theater, but. Mm-hmm. Yeah, anything that's been released in the last maybe year or so on Disney Plus for Marvel, this is the most hyped I've been.
That is awesome, man. That's actually really good to hear.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
How
no,
about
honestly,
yourself?
I'm kind of on the same page. I'm very excited for it. Yet again, I watched the Variant. I watched his channel, the Comic Book Historian, like all that, right? So I went through all their videos and this and that just to get a little refresher on Moon Knight. And I'm excited for the fact that this is going to touch on another way that Marvel can do magic. Right? They can do magic with Doctor Strange, with mystical. They can do magic through Wanda or Scarlet Witch with like the demonic side of things. This is like a horror style of magic. Mm-hmm. Right? And there's like also a celestial style of magic as well. So it's like I want to see how they expand this and how this connects to the Marvel universe. Because one thing I love about Marvel is how it connects. How does it connect? Who is this character going to connect with? Who is this character going to be on screen with? My guess is this guy is going to be on screen with Blade. He's going to be on screen with, I think he's called Black Knight or something like that, the guy from Eternals. I think he's going to be on screen with Hawkeye, like the more non-god heroes.
Okay.
This is like the B team, maybe the C team.
Okay.
Right? So, I want to see who he interacts with and which new superheroes are going to be on the screen. Because, hey, more superheroes on the screen means more happy times for me. Let's be honest.
There you go.
right?
Yeah.
Like I'm totally okay with that. Totally okay with that. So seeing where this goes and the fact that it's a series, which means we're more likely to get a season 2 faster than if it was a movie to get a part 2.
Right, for sure.
So we'll see how this goes. I'm actually really excited for it. I can't wait to see more trailers. This one, like in the last episode, I don't want to see more trailers because of spoilers, but I do want to see more trailers. You know,
you want more trailers that hype it up but don't reveal too much.
Exactly. And so far, this one did not really reveal a lot.
No, I still can't really explain who he is, so that's good.
And that's good because the mystery is the best part. Mystery is definitely the best part. But anyways, I'm definitely good with this. I cannot wait to see more. I want to see more action, though. I for sure want to see more action in the trailers because a few seconds of him punching somebody to a pulp is great, but I want to see more.
What's your hype level on this 1 to 10?
I'm at a hard 7, soft 8.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, what about you?
I'm at a 7.
Yeah.
I'm at a 7, which is higher than anything. Like, outside of Loki, which probably was around a 5.5, 6. The other television stuff, I was maybe 3.
Okay.
Yeah, like it didn't really interest me a whole lot, but this one does. And it's funny because you say that we're interested in it in different ways. Because you said you're interested in it because you're excited about seeing the
magic side,
how it builds into the universe.
Yep.
Whereas I'm as a victim of the early to mid 90s comic bloat, where everything was an intertwined universe. I just want to see a good standalone story.
Oh,
and I'm hoping to see that. If you sprinkle in some Easter eggs, great. But yeah, I'm excited to see a good standalone story with this. So,
nice.
Yeah, because I'm fully 12-year-old me is fully over having to buy 4 different comic lines just to get the one story.
No, that's totally fair. That's totally fair.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this one resolves in my book.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, next one. This one I actually recently just watched today. And I'm very impressed with it. I actually watched the first 3 episodes.
Did you? Okay, yeah. I'm behind you then.
I watched the first 3 episodes, but we'll talk about the first one. We'll talk about the first episode. But the Peacemaker TV show. The first 3 episodes came out on day 1, I believe. We've both watched episode 1. I'm on episode 3.
1? Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on John Cena as Peacemaker?
You can't see me. Man,
actually, we can. We can definitely see him with his getup. Yes, we definitely can.
We saw a lot. There's a lot of Cena to see there.
Yes.
We've seen enough, as they say. Honestly, I think, and maybe it's because I'm a bit of an older. Like I've said before, I'm a closet wrestling fan. So. John Cena is awesome, is absolutely awesome in the right amount of doses.
Yes.
And the reason why I had to stop after episode 1 is because I watched episode 1 immediately after watching Suicide Squad, which we'll expand on a little bit in the watch list.
Yep.
But that now I have been with the Peacemaker character for 3.5 hours. And at that point I was sort of like, oh, okay. Yeah, a little bit of John Cena goes a long way. He is awesome in the role of Peacemaker. This is a show that I am very happy they release weekly because I definitely think that it would wear real thin if you binge this. So that the one recommendation I have to anyone is, you know what? Take your time with this. Don't throw it all down in 10 hours because, yeah, it's a lot because he's a lot.
Yes.
which is awesome up to a point, and then when you get to that point, you just get sick of it. And I'm not at that point, but I could sense, I was like, oh, okay, I remember this happening when I was in my early 20s with Cena. So, but yeah, the show itself, like, okay, now completely divesting myself from John Cena himself, the show's awesome. It's got that same, like, you can tell where the James Gunn influence is. It's just got that feel for that Guardians of the Galaxy had.
That beginning opening scene, like the intro where they all dance.
You know it's not going to take itself too seriously. You know he's going to pick the perfect song to go with the mood, to convey the mood of the moment in the show. just like I've really enjoyed it after one episode. I'm pumped. Yeah, it was great to see how they're gonna turn him into, the sort of central character, right? And it's been really good so far. What about you? What are your thoughts on this?
I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It caught me off guard, like when he was spoilers, by the way, this is spoilers. That he was just standing in his hospital gown, you saw his butt cheeks.
Yeah.
Or
a lot of Cena to see.
Or even near the end, it was a lot of Cena to see.
Yes.
Let's be honest here. You saw Cena in full glory.
Yeah.
In full action.
Yeah.
And it's just like, whoa. This is the
so
same guy that's
when you
John
see him
Cena.
running around in just his underwear, and it's like, wait a minute. Oh right, yeah, he was a big dude in the world of professional wrestling where everyone is a giant mutant. So when you put him next to a bunch of normal sized people, he looks like a freak.
Yeah. So it's like it's crazy. It's over the top. I find it absolutely hilarious.
Yeah. I love superhero movies that don't take themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
It was weird because I liked either when they take themselves way too seriously, like Batman, or they don't take themselves seriously at all, like Guardians and Peacemaker.
Like, and I do understand how, like, he can reach a threshold, because sometimes it's just like, oh, really, dude? Like, come on now. And it's weird because, like, in my opinion, his character in Suicide Squad is way more dexterous, way more assassin-like, way more together than he is in the show. I think in the show, like, they dumb him down a little bit with his abilities just to make it more comical.
Yep, and I wonder if that's sort of part of the sort of recovery process, right? Like he did get spoiler alert, he did get shot in the neck, right?
Yeah, he got fucked up.
Yeah, so it's just him. So I think the aura of invincibility got shattered for himself too, right?
Yeah,
it was like before he was the top dog, and it was like, oh, he got killed the way he was, shit talking was the way he was going to kill somebody else, and that's how he got killed. And now he's with his old man, and that's quite the ego. That's quite a hit to the ego to hear, the way his dad talks down to him sometimes. And
one thing was really cool though was at his dad's place when going into that storage closet.
Yeah, that storage closet
ended up not being a storage closet. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah,
I'm like, this is some interdimensional shit.
Yeah, I want to know more about his dad. I hope they expand a little bit more on him, because he just comes off as your stereotypical, racist dumbass redneck, and then all of a sudden, oops. He's a better version of Peacemaker, and it's like, oh yeah, let's expand on that.
I definitely want to know more about, because like when that happened, I was like, first off, what? So this is like a TARDIS thing. It's bigger on the inside. I'm like, what the hell? And then all of the futuristic gear. I'm like, I thought this guy was just wearing a toilet on his fucking head. It's not a toilet on his head. This thing is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm like, damn, dude.
That's Sonic Boom, man. Whew.
That was
not
deadly.
Since Guile.
Literally.
Not since Guile have we seen that deadly with Sonic Boom.
That is crazy. When that went off, I was like, okay, cool. It's just going to be a little force field. No, it went off. It went off.
Boom. Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Vaporized her. Crazy, dude. Okay, but honestly, like, there's 4 episodes right now. I'm on episode 3. Probably after this, I'm probably going to watch episode 4 and just go to bed.
Yeah, but I'll get caught up.
Right? But, dude, this show gets better. I'll tell you right now. The show gets better. You'll enjoy it a lot more, like, when you watch episode 2 and 3. But I have very high hopes for this series. Very high hopes.
Good. Me too. I'm excited. I'm excited to keep going with it. Like I said, I mean, I was walking into hour 4 with the Peacemaker, which is sort of why I was like, oh, okay, I need to take a bit of a step back. But I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed all 4 hours with them.
That's good.
So I'm definitely excited to watch episodes 2, 3, and 4. I will definitely have that banged out in the next 1 to 2 days, depending on what my schedule looks like.
Yeah.
It's the top of the watch list now.
That's good. Any
We'll
final
get there.
thoughts on Peacemaker before we move on?
I can't wait, man. Bring on episode 2.
All right, this one resolves. Now, speaking of another series that we both really enjoy,
Yeah.
Boba Fett, episode 4. Amazing show.
Our boy.
Amazing show.
boy.
Amazing episode. This was a lot of fun. I actually really enjoyed this episode. What are your initial
Me too.
thoughts on episode 4?
So when we were talking about episode 3, we were talking about how it was going to be a setup episode and it was going to sort of bring us into it. And I don't think it did that. But at
No.
the same time, it was an episode I thoroughly enjoyed because it was something that a lot of people had questions about. And I myself had questions about it. It was like, what is, how did the Fennec Shand Boba Fett relationship sort of evolve after he saved her? Like, one, why did he decide to save her? Two, how did she not die after taking that shotgun to the gut right during Mandalorian?
Oh, yeah.
Why is she still sticking around, right?
Mhm.
And now because like there was always there's some theories that thought that maybe Fennec Shand would turn, because we don't know, like, if she was
Okay.
sort of if she was a sidekick against her will. Is she just looking for a spot? Is she
Yeah.
looking for a spot to pull the Gandalf and stab someone in the back?
Mhm.
Right? So to explain sort of how they got to where they are, I really enjoyed this episode. I think that I've enjoyed this show more than what the internet sort of chatter has been about. Mind you,
yeah.
the internet chatter is always inherently significantly more negative than usual
Yeah.
than what you would see. It's never really the real world. So I've liked it so far. Interested to know what you thought of the episode. Let's hear it.
I really liked it. Number one, we got to see a Wookiee actually pull someone's limbs off or limb off.
Xanten.
That was always talked about, right?
He's such a beast.
In like past iterations and whatever
Yeah.
else, right? On how amazingly strong Wookiees are.
Yeah,
Now we actually got to see it.
we did.
This is amazing. Like, he
did.
tore that guy's arm off so clean. Like, it was
He did.
effortless.
He really did.
So, number one, boom. Number two, the whole flashback with Fennec Shand. Beautiful, right? Number three, the whole dinner scene. The dinner scene was awesome.
That was
Where
great. Yeah.
where the Rancor just like, boom, scared everyone. And everyone's like,
Yeah, that jump scare.
oh, that was
Yeah.
good. If you want to show dominance, that is
Yeah. Yeah.
perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Let's have dinner above something that can have you for dinner.
Exactly. It showed that you could be a crime boss. You can be the biggest crime boss. But guess what? There's always something bigger than you. And you're standing and sitting right on top of it. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, man, that's just beautiful. And then my favorite part was the last part. You could always hire help. And then you
Yeah.
hear the music play. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, episode 5 is going to be my episode. I already know it. Episode 5 is going to be my favorite episode ever.
What's your theory on? We should probably spoiler alert.
Yeah,
What's
spoiler
your
alert.
theory? Yeah, what's your
Mando's
theory?
coming back.
Ooh.
Mando and the crew's coming back.
Oh.
So the guy and the commando girl, they're coming
Okay.
back.
Yeah.
They're going to hire some help, and they're going to hire them.
Oh man.
Has to be. They played
They played the Mandalorian.
They played
theme.
the Mando theme. I'm like,
Yeah.
who else are they gonna are they
Yeah.
gonna do that? So I'm
Yeah.
assuming it'd be even better if it was Mando, the guy and the girl, and also a squad of Mandalorians.
Oh.
Oh, please, that'd be awesome.
I'm gonna sort of burst. I don't think Cara Dune's coming back.
I know.
Unfortunately.
I know.
But
I really hope
she would
though,
have been awesome.
because I love her character.
I love her character.
I love her character.
Yeah, that would have been awesome to have her there. Right? Because awesome character and yeah, I mean I'm a fan.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
a
me
fan.
too. I'm a fan. Let's
So-
be honest here. I'm a fan,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I can disagree with somebody's viewpoint and still enjoy their work. So
Yes.
speaking of, I was thinking about it's escaping me right now because I'm not quite the diehard Star Wars fan.
Okay.
What are their bars called again?
Oh shit.
There's a word, the cantina.
Cantina. There we go.
I think it was the cantina or whatever it was, like the bar, the owner of that bar. I kept going like, why am I like drawn to her? Why am I so drawn to
She's
this?
gorgeous.
It's
Duh.
Jennifer Beals. I didn't know that.
Wait, what?
Jennifer Beals. It's Jennifer Beals from Flashdance. I've had a crush on her for near 3 decades now. So that is why I kept staring at the owner of the bar.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was just, yeah, she's awesome in the role, right? She's just, she knows when to use her guile, and she knows, like, she's just an awesome character. And, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I didn't realize, because I was, like, watching, I was like, man, I like that character, right? And then sort of when the credits rolled, I see Jennifer Beals, I'm like, wait a second. That was Jennifer Beals? And then I looked and I was like, oh my God, it's Jennifer Beals. That's crazy. So,
yo, let's be real here. The Twi'lek girls working at that cantina,
yeah,
I'd be losing a lot of money. I'm like, oh, you want to buy some drinks and play some games? I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure. I'll do whatever you want. They're gorgeous.
Yeah. Those days have kind of gone for me, but yeah, back in the day, I would have definitely stupidly spent more money than I should have in a place like that.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
But yeah, I'm excited to see where they go with this. What are your thoughts in terms of an episode rating?
I think the story alone of how they met and how they got their ship, his ship back, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome sequence. Yeah. Awesome sequence. That alone would give this episode like an 8 or a 9 for me.
Yeah.
Adding on the whole Mando thing at the end and the whole arm getting torn off, I'm like, this is pushing a 9.5.
Is it the best episode so far for you?
I don't know. That train sequence was really good.
I was gonna say. I think the episode with the train sequence might be the best episode so far, but this one is not far behind.
In my opinion, I think that train sequence was the best so far. An overall episode, I think this one might be better.
Okay. I'm trying to get my episode sort of in a row here. The train episode, was that also the episode where he sort of train used differently, verb, not noun,
he trained differently. He also trained them to use the speeders.
Yes. That was all one episode?
That was all one episode.
Okay,
so I think the train sequence was the best. Okay. But I think this episode overall from start to end was better. Because in that episode, it was kind of like, here and there. But I think this episode was good.
Way.
Yeah?
I'm going to go the other way. I liked the sort of... Because I liked the simultaneous sort of humanization of the Tusken Raiders, as well as sort of, showing why Boba Fett has changed. Like they've changed not that they've changed each other, but they've changed him, and then during that episode, he started to change the perception of the Tusken Raiders as well.
Yep. Within
the Star Wars universe. So I think that's why that episode I liked a little bit better than this one, but not by much. This one was really good. Those the bio or the mod parlor was really cool too.
That was wicked sweet.
Yeah.
Because you see that a lot in Star Wars, right? Even in the games, right? You see people with mods and this and that, but you don't see how they get it.
Yeah, and it would make sense that it would be like, the Star Wars equivalent of a tattoo parlor, right?
Which is hilarious if you think about it. Oh, you didn't make an appointment.
Yeah.
That's super cool. So what would you rate this, like in number-wise?
Let's see. 10 being the best episode of Mandalorian or Boba Fett of all time. I'll give this one an 8.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah. Okay. Any final thoughts on this one before we move on?
Can't wait to see who he hires, man.
Oh.
He's got a lot of credits.
He's got a lot of credits.
He's got a lot of credits, and there's some people out there who are looking for some work. So
yes, that is very much true. All right, moving on. This one, I know for a fact you're a 10. You don't even have to tell me you're a 10 for this one.
10, baby.
Kamigawa. Just saying that alone, so nice. So nice. Why? Because it's around the corner. I remember seeing that name. I'm like, oh man, that's so far away. That's in 2022. And now it's around the corner, dude.
It is. It is.
Neon Dynasty. Spoiler season schedule released. Okay. So I already know you're very excited for this.
Oh, yeah.
What is the season schedule going to look like?
So they've said that, first of all, it's hashtag MTG Neon. Right?
Okay.
So anytime we're posting anything about it on IG,
okay.
Hashtag MTG Neon. The where to find previews. So basically where they announce who's going to have what spoilers and on what days. Remember when they had that list? That's coming out today.
Oh.
So we will know more about, Command Tower gets, or Command Zone gets a spoiler
this card,
here.
Yeah.
TCC gets one here. Command Quarters gets one here. Nitpicking Nerds get one here. Blah, 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 blah. Right? I Hate Your Deck gets one here. So the debut broadcast and previews, they're going to start on the 27th, which is
Thursday.
So yeah, so we're looking at Thursday for when they start, and then they'll start banging out those previews, and then we'll have a little bit more of an idea once they release the actual article that shows where we can find it. Well, that's when we'll know who's spoiling the Commander precons, which is kind of our
thing.
Our big one. And then it's getting released to Arena and MTGO February 10th. February 11th is pre-release weekend. February 18th, we pick up our precons.
Damn, that's really around the corner.
It is very much around the corner. So let's start with you, because I know that on the one hand, this is of any set in the last, I'm going to say everything that's been announced for the roadmap for 2022. I'm going to go out on a limb here. Any of the standard sets announced for 2022, anything we've seen since 2021 or in and around the time we started Commander Box League, this is the standard. Oh, maybe since D&D. This is the set you're most excited about.
Oh yeah.
At the same time, this is also, I believe, right around the time that you have not been less excited about Commander.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah.
So, marrying those two sort of warring viewpoints, where are you right now with Neon Dynasty?
Well, it doesn't really help that Warhammer's kind of taken over.
Yeah.
Right? Only because it's like, it's a new thing, Warhammer, and like, I get to build it from scratch, and I get to paint it, and there's more hours of prep in regards to having one game as it is with Magic, right? And I like the lore a lot more in Warhammer, only because like, there's a lot of lore. In Magic, they tell you some lore, right? But they don't give you like 54 books off just for one event, right? It's like it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy for Warhammer. But with my, I guess, decline in excitement in regards to Commander, or at least playing Commander, and my excitement for Neon Dynasty, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, I'm at like at a 6 right now, maybe a 5. I don't know. It's just
that's higher than I thought.
Yeah, it's a weird spot right now. Like, if the precons are good, like, I mean, good. Like, I want a ninja and a samurai one. Like, if that's what I get, if that's what we get, I'm gonna go buy a precon of a ninja and samurai precon. That's hell yes. Send it. Just send it. Let's go. I'll send you the money. But it's like, do I really want to play those decks right now?
Yeah, and I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, all I remember is that the selling point that we made to each other was that a set booster box is the exact same manufacturer's suggested retail price as a combat patrol box, and the faction that you are currently starting to build is releasing a combat patrol box
Exact same time.
possibly at the exact same time for the exact same retail price as a set booster box. And I am not much of a gambling guy. I work in the gambling industry, which is why I'm not much of a gambler, because I understand how the odds are stacked. I'd bet my house that you're more excited about the Tau combat patrol box than you are about any Magic set right now.
Yeah. Like, let's be real here. I love my Ultramarines. My Ultramarines. Oh man, playing that game we did was so much fun.
Yeah.
But now that I'm gonna have 2 armies, I can go from playing my Gundams to playing my Space Marines. Man, that's awesome, dude. That is And here's the thing. One thing that I can appreciate with Warhammer is that I can play the same army 1,000,000 times. And let's say I win every single time. Okay, let's say you win with Blood Angels for you, or Space Marines for me, or Tau, right?
Yeah.
And you win 1,000,000 times.
I mean, you're on that streak right now.
And essentially, I guess. Out of all those matches, I guarantee you'll only win the same way a handful of times.
It looks like it right now, right? That's the other thing, right? It's got a bit of that new car smell for us. We don't know when we're getting cheesed, right? We don't know, right? Like, we don't know what the equivalent it's ignorance is bliss, right? We don't know what the equivalence of Arcane Signet is.
Yes.
Like, what's the Arcane Signet of Warhammer?
Exactly.
We don't know what it is.
But also, it's like with Magic, and you can play the same deck 1,000,000 times, and guarantee you, half of those, you'll be winning the exact same time every single time. The exact same way. With Warhammer, there's
a multitude.
There's a multitude of ways to win. You can win by points, by 1 point, 2 point, by different stratagems, by different secondary, this and that, right? Where it's more strategy to it, and that's what I love, is the strategy part.
Yeah, the thing for me that I loved most about this, and it was something that it was what originally drew me to Commander, and the fact that it's sort of starting to wane is part of the reason why I'm less excited about Commander than I have been in the past. Is the number one rule in Warhammer is the rule of cool.
Yeah.
If you think it looks cool, put it in your army.
Do it. Right?
Yeah.
Fuck it.
If you think that model looks cool, throw them in. See what happens. Right? So, and that's, listen, I've heard from a lot of people that in the meta, Blood Angels aren't great in 9th edition. But if you told me I can get a bunch of dudes who kind of look like Master Chief, who are all vampires, who follow, the one dude who is famous for his loyalty.
Who looks like an angel in golden armor.
He looks like he's an angel vampire.
That's amazing. Dude.
Yeah.
Sold.
And sometimes, the one weakness they have is sometimes they go nuts because they think they love their leader so much that sometimes they kind of go crazy and think that they're their leader about to get killed. So,
right?
Yeah. I don't know. I love it. I'm all in.
Yep.
As well as you are. I'm not as out on Magic as you are, I think, but I think a lot of that has to do with my excitement level for Neon Dynasty.
So. And to be honest with you, I think if I paid more attention to Neon Dynasty, I think I'd be in the same level of excitement as you. Right now, I only looked at 2 previews, and one of them was the
Satoru Umezawa. That's
I looked at him and the what's it called, the legendary creature, or
yes, no, that's Satoru Umezawa.
Then it was the Planeswalker.
The Planeswalker.
Yeah, and those are the only 2 cards that I've seen. Essentially,
and one guy is cool, but we don't really play a lot of Planeswalkers, and the other guy's a broken commander.
Well, other than me, I have my Super Friends deck, so technically I have 80 cards of Planeswalkers, right? Yeah. So, but even though it's just do I really want to play this?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. The one commander really, really tempered my enthusiasm because man, I don't like this guy. I don't like that commander.
Yeah. Even when I made Memnarch, I'm okay, this is gonna be my shits and giggles deck. Let's see how it actually works, right? okay, sure, it went off, but it's just like
Mhm.
it's fun in the theme of it.
Yeah.
Right?
And, yeah, I think a lot of it too. I think, and maybe I don't want to speak for you, but I think a lot of your enthusiasm might be tempered because of what's been going on around the world, and we've had to move back a little bit to more spell table and less gathering. Because the gathering part is always a lot more fun.
That's always the best part, the gathering. Seeing you guys at the table and interacting and laughing and having fun and making people salty. Like it's always
and not
fun.
not having you guys around makes it a little tougher, I think.
Like every single time I come over to your place, either to play like Warhammer last night or to record or whatever, it's like it's always the highlight of my day. It's always the highlight because I get to interact with somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, here's hoping. Like I said, spoiler season. We're gonna keep on it here, and we'll talk a lot about it, and we'll see what it goes.
I know for a fact though, for spoiler season, I'm gonna try and stay on top of it, like no tomorrow. I'll try and follow or at least set reminders for all the release videos because I know they set them. Like I follow all of them, so they're gonna set them as premieres. I'm assuming, which is gonna be it'd be smart if they did.
It'd be silly not to,
right? And then I'll just set them as reminders, so when they come out, the second they come out, I'll watch them.
Yeah, and give it a fair shake, right? Like I'm not.
Hell yeah.
Nobody's asking you to stay on it if you're not interested. Like I said, I mean, I'm at a 10, but I was at an 11 before I saw Satoru Umezawa.
Also, here's the thing, like ninjas, yo. I'm sold.
Cool.
I'm sold. Yep. Let's go.
Real cool. Yeah. Like I think I've actually gotten to a point now where I'm not 100% sure I'm going to buy a box.
Really? You're just going to buy the cards you want?
I think I'm just going to buy the cards I want, and if I see a commander I really like, I'm going to invest the money in building that deck versus I got a once bitten twice. Ironically, with Crimson Vow, it was once bitten twice shy. Right? I kind of not only was the set a little underwhelming considering my excitement level for it, but I also did not get a great box.
Yeah, that's always iffy in regards to Magic and Warhammer. With Warhammer, you know what you're getting.
Yeah. So it was a bit of a double whammy for me there, but I'm definitely getting a play mat. I'm definitely getting.
The play mat.
Yeah, I think my spend level's still going to be where I thought it was going to be. It's just going to be sort of shifted.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think mine is going to be going towards Warhammer because, like you said, Tao's coming out the exact same time. So I want my Codex. I want my command box or my combat patrol.
Yep.
And, if anything, I want to buy a commander. Right? So the commander's 50. The box is 170. The book is going to be 50. Sorry?
You mean an HQ? Like not a commander for a commander deck, but HQ
like an HQ commander. Yeah, an HQ commander or a captain, right? Okay. So essentially, I'm just going to be buying a huge freaking Gundam suit.
Yeah, which means I got to catch up to you.
So, but then again, I want to play against Ultramarines with Tau.
Yeah.
Right? Because having the matchup of Blood Angels, which is melee, to Tau, which is long range, that is a great matchup because it's either you're staying away from me because I'm hitting you like crazy, or you're rushing in and I can't do shit. Right? So I'm going to be running around and you're going to chase me and we're going to see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting, man. Well, I hope they meet your expectations or exceed your expectations.
I think it will. To be honest with you, I really do think it will. We'll just see where they go with the spoilers because they're going to nail it. And I'm going to feel so bad because it's like, I want to spend money, but I can't. But I want to.
You've got to make sure that if nothing else, like all I'm hoping for from you is that you budget properly. Whatever you decide, you don't buy both.
Yeah. Oh, I won't. It's gonna be one or the other. I already have 100 cards that I'm gonna be trading in, and 20 of those cards are $50 each. So we'll see how it goes. All
right, man.
Anyways, our stack is done, and I'm 100% resolving this because it's Magic, right?
Yeah.
But
it's what brought us together. So
yeah, hell yeah. But what is on your watch list? Like, this is how we're gonna end every single episode. What are you watching? What is on your watch list?
So, I mean, outside of the Warhammer stuff, which I've been sort of taken in, not quite to the level you have, but definitely been watching a lot of the lore or listening to. I've been listening to False Gods on audiobook.
That's book 2.
Which is that's book 2 of the Horus Heresy, which is the main storyline in Warhammer 40K. So I've been listening to that. And it's been fantastic so far. We're starting to see how Horus turned, which is unfortunate. But the 2 big ones that I watched is one in preparation for Peacemaker. I finally watched Suicide Squad. So the one directed by James Gunn, and I have a bone to pick with you and with Noslin.
Yeah, what's up
about this movie? Because both of you knew I was going to watch Suicide Squad.
Yes,
and both of you have played against my Maronar deck, and both of you are very aware of the origins of that Maronar deck, and both of you are very aware that I built a rat deck with a commander that has fear because of my fucking fear of rats, and neither one of you guys told me that a central character in Suicide Squad is named Ratcatcher, and her power is to draw in thousands upon thousands of rats. Thank you for not telling me that so that I can watch this movie in my dark basement with the volume cranked on my 70-inch television that is 24 inches away from my face when this horde of rats came flying into the camera. I want to appreciate you guys owe me a new laundry bill after I just shit my pants.
Yeah, actually, like, get really scared.
Ratcatcher. I freaked out. There's times I close my eyes during the Ratcatcher attacks, man. You guys suck.
Oh, that is hilarious, dude.
That is my mini rant for the day. I owe you and Noslin big time.
That is so funny. You can send us the laundry bill. It's fine.
Unbelievable.
That is funny.
The other thing I watched was Ali had been pestering me to watch Searching for the longest time. Searching, starring our boy John Cho, which is the movie about him where his daughter goes missing.
Really?
And I've always wanted to watch it because I'm all in on anything John Cho. But I had not watched it because it was freaking me out because, well, my son is that age. Ali is that age right now. And that's a parent's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Right? So I was afraid that it might hit a little too close to home. And I like watching stuff for entertainment value. I don't want to watch something and then all of a sudden now
You're paranoid?
I'm paranoid. The second Alejandro is not around me, I'm texting him 50 times because, and I'm not sleeping because I'm waiting just in case he texts if he's at his mom's or something. I was afraid that I would let my imagination run a little too wild on that. Turns out it didn't, and fantastic movie. Highly recommend it. Watch it now before the baby's a teenager. Yeah. So you can get that sort of out of your system and you're not freaking out. But
so at least gives me what, like 11, 12 years for me to watch it.
Blink and you'll miss it.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So
okay.
I can't believe 2019 was 3 years ago. So
that's crazy, dude. That's
right.
That's crazy.
Time's a flat circle right now. What about you, man? What have you outside of your endless hours of Warhammer binging, what have you been watching?
I'm gonna be watching episode 4 of Peacemaker.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna get back into Star Trek Discovery.
Nice. The
newest season of Star Trek Discovery. The trailer for Star Trek Picard season 2 came out. And
how was season 1?
I actually liked season 1. Okay. Picard is not your typical Star Trek show. It's
okay.
The ship is not the main focus. Picard is.
Yeah, hence
the name, right? Yeah. So as long as you're okay with that, then it's fine because it's a show about Picard, and if you love Picard, you'll like the show. Season 2, the trailer looks wild. I love that Guinan is back in. Same with Q, right? And the guy who plays Data is back in, but not as Data.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's
Interesting.
he plays, I think, the creator of Data. I forget what his name is.
Oh, right, because he's done that in Next Generation too, right?
Yeah.
He played the creator of Data.
Yeah, and that's a nice way for him to still stay on the show
Yeah.
without actually playing Data, and I respect that because I love him. There's that.
Brent Spiner. That's his
Yes,
name.
there it
That
is.
was-
There it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that guy. Like, he's great. Like, ever since I saw him as Data, I'm like, oh man, this guy's great at acting. This
Yeah.
is good stuff.
Yeah.
What else am I watching? That Peacemaker. Yeah, and I guess with just a bunch of Warhammer stuff. Like, I'm essentially trying to research a bunch of lore on Tau at the moment,
Oh, okay.
right?
Makes
and
sense.
like how they work and the backstory, and essentially they are the babies of 40K.
Mhm.
They are the baby faction of 40K, and a lot of people don't like them because
Well, they're the closest thing you get to a good guy, right?
they're the closest thing you get to a good guy. Essentially, they are the federation of the 40K universe.
Yeah, I was
Right.
like, I don't know why you're not these guys. They're
preach
hitting
peace.
everything.
They want everyone to come together to make a better society and a better world.
Yeah.
There's some darker themes to it as well, in regards to the ethereals. If it's if it's brainwashing or mind control or whatever else. But other than that, I don't really have a lot on my watch list. I'm gonna be honest with you, I
Well,
really don't.
Warhammer is a lot right now
Oh,
on your watch
that's-
list. So
It's even worse that right
that's
now
fair.
it's
Yeah.
spoiler season for all the new stuff coming out, and it's going to be like
Yeah.
that for the next few months apparently. So
there
every
you
single
go.
day there's Warhammer news, and I'm more like in depth with that stuff than anything else. So
Mhm.
yeah, but anyways, man, like, anything else you want to talk about before we
No,
head
I
off?
think that's it. I think we can put a wrap. I think everything resolves. No
Yeah.
sequencing errors, we're hoping. So
Sounds good, man. Anyways, thank you all for watching on today's episode of the Unhinged Vibes Podcast, where we do the stack. Okay, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like the video, make sure you comment, and make sure you share it to your friends so they can listen to the stack. I'm Caramel Thunder, Caramel with 2 L's. That's where you can find me on Instagram. Where can they find you, buddy?
you can find me at Coast Dynasty. That is COASTDY Nasty. I guess MTG Coast, considering it's not Neon Dynasty.
Yeah.
You can find me there on Instagram.
Man, it is 12:30. It is late. Woo!
Yeah.
You can find all of us on the Unhinged Vibes on Instagram. You can find us on our website. Also, make sure you find us and follow us, like I said, and subscribe on YouTube. Check us out there. Eventually, we will get videos of us actually talking, and you get to see our beautiful faces, or we'll put masks on or something. I don't know. But either way, thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.